All right, today we are testing out some more broadheads. We have a Keaup broadhead, which is an broadhead from Amazon, low cost, but it's a rear deploy similar to your typical two-bladed Rage. And then we have a Rage hypodermic no collar. I've always had good luck with the two-blade Rages. They will fly like my field tips. You get a really big entrance, nice wound channel. Like on the internal organs, you can see how that front blade is cutting like the spade blade, and then your cross blades cutting through like the lungs and liver and heart, and then a nice exit. Very often you get good blood trails with the Rages. Hoping for the same performance from the Keaups on the animals and same performance on targets as far as accuracy matching with the field tips. Today there's a little bit of wind, but I'm done waiting for no wind, because this climate has changed and the wind has changed. I'm in Western Pennsylvania and there's just a lot of wind. Today's really not bad, so I'll take this for especially 40 yards, because I was shooting 50 yards in my previous broadhead video, and it really didn't seem like the wind was affecting things too much. I had a broadhead hit the same hole at 50 yards, so it really didn't seem like the wind was a big factor. But today we're doing 40, and this is a good day for testing, and 40 is a good limit for archery equipment. So let's go over and check out the broadheads. Oh, also, if you like this kind of stuff, please hit the like button. It's free for you, and it supports my channel. And you can go to backyardbroadheads.com to check out the Raven crossbow accessories that I make. All right, so here are our two broadheads. That is the Rage no collar hypodermic in the closed position. And I'll tell you about that little purple thing there in a second. Right there. And this is our, I'm going to call that Keaup. Not sure if that's exactly how you say that, but Keaup from Amazon. Linked in the description also, so if you want to get these things. And this is the closed position for the Keaup, and that top one there, that is your open position. See what size these are. 2-inch cutting diameter, stainless steel blades, 100 grain, bone shattering penetration. And now let's talk about why that little purple ring is on there. All right, so here is the Raven R29 crossbow, 4-in-1 light bipod that I make on the front there. Leopold Vendetta. This thing's freaking awesome. Just real consistent. A little bit more consistent than the Laserworks, even though those Laserworks do work pretty good also. This does have a cord on it. It goes to my button down here. But anyway, back to the broadhead and the purple washer. Okay, so if I just take this broadhead or this broadhead and I just tighten it up onto my arrow, I'll end up with something like this, where my blade is hitting on this black piece right here, and that is no good, because you need to have your arrow resting on your white rollers. So in the past I would put an O-ring in here, but then when you do that, it gets squozen out some and it hits on your blade, and it's just annoying. So what I did was I got a Taco Bell cup, and first I got a leather punch and I punched a hole, and then I got a regular bigger punch and I punched that out and made a little disc. And we'll just jump to that real quick, and then we'll get back to our shooting. All right, so I had this leather punch, and I got a Taco Bell cup, and I dried it out and sliced it up. And if you're going to do this, it's better to do it on the purple part, because then the next step is just easier to see. And this thing's not super sharp, so you kind of have to, play with the pressure and twist it back and forth some until you can feel that it's loose and it's cut the whole way through there. And then that gives you the right size hole that you need. And then you get the wrong punch, and then you set that down, and you get the correct punch because it's bigger. And then you're going to have to look straight down in there and get that previous hole centered in the hole on this punch. And then I don't know what we're doing right now. And we're back now. And just put your thumb on there so it doesn't go flying. And then that will give you a little disc that is hard to see, but there it is. And then you're going to get your broadhead and start that on there as far as you can. Carefully, don't slice yourself. and then it's easier to get your arrow at this point and get it to push it the rest of the way on there. Then test it in your crossbow and see if that's what you need. You might have to add another one or another two, and I don't think that tiny bit of weight is going to affect the flight of your arrow at probably pretty much any distance. And you'll just have to keep adding them until with your white vein down, you have a vertical broadhead. So that this now, when I tighten this up, we have it vertical. And the blades aren't hitting anything. Up next, we are shooting Raven Arrow 1 and Raven Arrow 2, and we will be watching from a mirror, so everything will be reversed right and left, but not reversed up and down. Why is up and down not reversed? Let's see if old Grumpy Hunter can give us an answer to that one. Okay, a little bit of a breeze, not too bad. Let's check out our results here. All right, we are at 40 yards. We are hitting a circle that is 2 inches across, so within a 2-inch circle, 40 yards. That's great for whatever you're hunting, unless you're hunting like little salamanders or something. And then, let's see here, up half an inch, and over, up half an inch, over half an inch. Our other one is up about a half inch. It looks like over a quarter would be my guess. Yeah, over a quarter inch. Okay, so those are both really good. We do have a chart here. So we have our Raven field point shot 1 here. Raven number 2 field point shot here. I am shooting Ravens today. Normally I do shoot arrows from AJ's Custom Arrows, but I'm getting low on those right now. And this is good accuracy for 40 yards with a little bit of wind, but the crossbow is capable of being even more accurate. In the description, in the description, I have a video where I hit the same hole, like say this here, 3 times with 3 different arrows at 60 yards. That was on an evening with no wind and arrows that AJ put together for me. Anyway, back to the chart. So we're going to put down our numbers of where we hit, so up, left, whatever that is, and then I will have an X over here just as a quick diagram. Since this one's high left, then it's going to get a little dot right here representing high left, and if it was drastically high left, I would just put that dot further away. Just makes it easier to compare as we go down the chart. Okay, now another thing I want to look at before we talk about how accurate these are. Oh wow, got something really impressive on this second one here. Okay, something else to think about. So the outside layer of this foam, I would say, is definitely softer than a deer's hide. So you can see this is your well, it's hard to say whether they opened up or not, but I'm confident that this no collar would open up. I do have a cut here and a cut here that's bigger than the blade is when it's closed. So, you know, did that tear or did that actually get cut? I'm not sure, but I'm confident that with a deer hide, if I put a piece of leather on here, that it's going to open up. Now this one, I mean, I've got a line all the way out to here and a line all the way out to here. So when we pull this one out, you know, I want to open this up and study a little bit. I do not think that this thing opened in the air, because it probably would not have been, I mean, here's my shot. It's, you know, probably about an inch at the most off. So we will get these written down. This was my hit. Once again, this is about within an inch. So these are shooting really nice compared to the field tips, 40 yards, you know, in the 2-inch circle, basically in the 2-inch circle, field tips in the 2-inch circle. So let's get these written down on our chart. All right, so here is our chart, and I'm really not even gonna go over this. Everything is under an inch. It's a lot easier just to look at this visually, because these are 2-inch yellow circles. Here's my field tip, I only shot once. Here's my Rage no collar. I mean, you're about an inch off there. Let's check that. Yeah, 1 inch, within an inch. This one of those 2 black spots is my spot. So we're just under an inch on that one. And what I want to look at next is this massive cut, because I just can't imagine that broadhead could open up that quickly. But let's pull it out and investigate. With this particular target, I do like this one a lot. Big shot target. This is the 10X, the black and yellow one. Anyway, I do like it, but pulling out broadheads, now these ones will reverse themselves and come out pretty easy, but something like a SWAT, pull straight out and go nice and slow so you don't bend your blades. Okay, so from what I can see on the target, that the Rage no collar opened up a little bit, because with it closed, that slice in the target is wider than the blades are closed. But I mean, this is not a fair test, because there's no hide on here, you know, there's no piece of leather. So if it opened up this much on foam, it should open up all the way on the deer's hide. And then this one, I'm kind of thinking it did open up all the way, because you can see this, and you know what, as I pulled this out, it was stuck in there because the blades were wider than the cut line. Let's see if I can show you how they were. Maybe something like that. And they were stuck in the foam. So this foam, I do not think it's going to crack, you know, when the arrow goes in. If your split ends right there, I think that's the end of where this was cutting. So I don't think it only cut to here and then cracked. I think it cut all the way out to there. And this one, you know, if I put this in there enough to hold it, you know, there's the end of my blade, and right about there is where that crack is at. It's really easy to see on the yellow side, but we have the same thing over on this side. Yeah, see, if I pull that down, you can see that. So I'm thinking that the nap broadheads definitely opened up, and so I am really happy with how the naps performed. Happy with how the Rage no collars performed also, because even though they didn't open up as much on the target, I'm sure on a deer hide they're going to open up. So both broadheads, I'm close to comfortable to where I can say, you know, you shoot your field tips, you don't even have to test one of the broadheads. And it makes sense, because they're mechanical and they have a small profile in flight, and that means that your vanes on your arrow still have enough, they're still big enough to keep that arrow going straight. I would say that any field tip you put on there, or I'm sorry, any broadhead is going to try to steer that arrow off of straight a little bit, but that's what your vanes on there are for. I'd like to hear your comments, and you can go to backyardbroadheads.com to check out the stuff I make for the Raven crossbows. Thanks for watching. If you like it, please give it a like.